I'm just doing video.
Okay.
All right. It's video and
That's fine.
What's up, guys? Nate, the old school otaku, with a bunch of other people. I've got a Rob and an Emily, and you guys have seen Nita before in the background of my Youmacon video, making tons of really interesting faces, and obviously Ruu-chan. And we're on our way to Fort Wayne for the Cherry Festival?
Cherry Blossom Festival.
Cherry Blossom Festival, big Japanese weeaboo thing going on, and we're gonna like weeb it up and stuff, and I don't know. Supposedly there's supposed to be like some games and taiko drumming and a bunch of other Japanese stuff and Japanese food.
Haiku contest.
Oh, a haiku contest and a bunch of other stuff at the library, the downtown library in Fort Wayne, Indiana. So we're about 30 minutes out, taking a pit stop for lunch and whatnot at the Loves on US 24, and yeah, that's really about it. So you'll probably be seeing some more interesting stuff as we go by. So stay tuned. Parking. it wouldn't be a trip to Fort Wayne without stopping at the local Mega Replay. So that's what we're doing here. We're done with the festival and whatnot, and now we're gonna enjoy some stuff at the resale shop and whatnot. Trying to run away. So yeah. So we finished kind of the day and we did a lot of shopping. We went to a used bookstore that we didn't even plan on. In fact, like shopping, here I can kind of show you shopping.
Let's not.
That, yeah, it's not all mine. A lot of it's mine, but
somebody besides you bought a laser disc.
Yes, I bought some Laserdiscs and some records and some DVDs and some stuff. So, yeah, gonna have some cool stuff to show you guys here coming up shortly. But yeah, this was a trip to Fort Wayne, Indiana for the Cherry Blossom Festival, and it was a thing. And we ate at O'Charlie's because there doesn't exist one in Michigan anymore. So we come here for it, because, yes, why not?
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. See y'all next time. I picked up stuff. Hi guys. So yes, I just got back from the Fort Wayne Cherry Blossom Festival and thrift shop shopping spree, disc replay shopping spree, extravaganza, as it were. And well, while I'm still wired and fired, I figured might as well actually talk about what I picked up while it's all still fresh in my mind for the most part, and I can talk about it. So yeah, it's been quite a long day. Let's just say the Cherry Blossom Festival, it was a fun experience. You know, we got a chance to do a lot of cool and interesting things, see a lot of things. I'm really into music. It's a big thing of mine. So the fact that they had both a koto group doing some koto music, including some classical Western songs on koto, as well as taiko drum. There's actual taiko drum group in Fort Wayne that has been training with actual taiko masters on how to do proper taiko drumming. And it was really cool to hear and see them. When we came in, they were playing outside, and then we later caught them in the theater a little bit later, so we got to see like the full performance, all of the songs and everything, and it was really cool. It was loud, obviously, a little painful to the ears, even a little painful to my ears, and I'm used to loud noises a little bit more than Ruu-chan is. She was pretty much holding her ears the whole entire time during that one. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, getting to see all of that stuff. There's quite a bit of dealers there selling different Japanese themed stuff. There was a dealer actually selling RPG goods, comic books and things. And they had a little bit of manga there, and then there was another dealer actually selling anime goods, as well as figures and things, and then there was a dealer selling a bunch of Japanese trinkets and stuff. Ruu-chan actually picked up a Matryoshka doll, a Japanese Matryoshka doll. I don't really know exactly what they call them specifically, but it's a Matryoshka doll, but it's Japanese. So she picked up one of those, and there was a guy selling honey from Michigan, so we picked up some of that too, amongst other things. But it was just kind of a fun experience being out there, seeing all the different cosplays and stuff. People noticed my shirt and gave me compliments, and you might have noticed a few of them in the backgrounds of some of my screenshots around. So it was overall, it was a fun experience going through all of that, and it was long. I've been up since around about 1:30 in the morning, partially because I kind of slept in a lot on Saturday and decided to continue to sleep in order to make sure I could be awake for all of this. So I've kind of been up for close to 24 hours straight, and I wouldn't exactly consider the sleep that I got Saturday during the day to be all of that good of sleep. So it's kind of like I've been up for a couple of days now, so I definitely feel kind of interesting. I was the one driving, but we went to a bunch of different places, hit up a bunch of stuff. So let's talk about what I got while on this thing. So let's start with what I picked up at the actual event. So, like I said, there was a dealer there selling anime goodies, and I decided to take a look and see what I could find. So, first up on the list is a card captor Sakura figure. Yeah, I was not expecting to find something like this. They had a couple Fujiko figures and a bunch of SAO figures and Miku figures, but this was the old school one that kind of stood out to me. It is Sakura-chan, card captor Sakura. Really cute one. I don't know how old technically this figure is, but it definitely has seen a lot of has seen some times. The package is a little bit on the damaged side, but you've got the anime character there, as well as down here some more information about the thing, and then also some more info here. And then finally the actual figure on the inside. I don't plan to actually open it right now, but this is what I picked up. Try to get a good shot in there, hopefully, with minimal glare coming in. But yeah, so I thought this was kind of cool, and I decided I wanted to pick it up. And of course, when Ruu-chan found out, she was all the more happy to enjoy it with me, and this was one that she didn't already have, so that was definitely cool. 1 second though. Alright, so where was I? in my rush, I forgot to turn the AC off real quick while while I did this. But yeah, so yeah, we saw this, thought it was really cute, and decided to add it to our collection. So awesome. On top of all of that, the dealer had a lot of old DVDs and whatnot sitting around, so it was definitely cool to pick a lot of that stuff up. Some used items and whatnot. Kind of had a similar setup to Otaku Joe in a lot of ways, but wasn't Otaku Joe, and obviously didn't have any laser discs or whatnot with them. But it was definitely cool to check out some of these, and so I decided to pick up a couple of them. So the first one I picked up is Knights of Ramun. This is a well, it's a show. I first actually saw this show back in the late 90s. I had rented it from Blockbuster back in the day, and it was definitely kind of cool. It was interesting, but the one thing that kind of threw me off about this is they talk about Ramun, or Lamoon, or it's kind of weird the way the translations for this show winds up going. They talk about him in a way where they knew him in a past life or something, and he's now like the bad guy. And so I was always wondering what is kind of going on with that. That seemed a little weird. We'll go to find out that this is actually a later show, an OVA that's based off of an old show. There was Knights of Ramun, or Lamoon, and 40, and then there's Knights of Lamoon, VG, 40, S, and VS, and then this one is actually Knights of Lamoon 40 Fresh. So the naming scheme's really weird. But it's about it's basically about a guy who is transported to this fantastical world from the real world, and has to basically save this world. And he's got a giant mech and other things, and has these women who follow him and help him out. Well, this time around, the characters, the main female characters, apparently are following around this girl who is Carmel? Let's see, does it say anything in here about... No, it doesn't have the name in there, but I think it's like Carrot or something. But, well, here's a blurb from this. So, just desserts. Holy virgins, cacao and parfait must find the prophesized champion of the galaxy, or the universe will be destroyed. Unfortunately, he's a power-obsessed tyrant. With the help of a plucky orphan, a giant robot, and their holy magic, which has some really interesting side effects, our heroines must save the galaxy from its greatest hero, if only they had instructions for the robot. According to Animerica, it's one small step for anime, one giant and prolonged jiggle for anime kind. It's kind of... This show's a little fan servicey. This specific one here. It's rated 16 and up. This was a Software Sculptors release. It's about 180 minutes. Originally came out in 1997 and was released here internationally in 1999. And its actual... they call this Knights Ramun, but the actual original version is VS Knights Ramun and 40 Fresh. So that's the official title of this. And yeah, it's one I've wanted to actually own for quite some time. I really enjoyed this when I watched this when I was younger, and it's cool to actually have it in my collection, so awesome. And the other item that that he had there that I was kind of surprised to see, and even more surprised to see it for the essentially for the price it was going, the fact that it's still it's still new, and that is Urusei Yatsura, the second movie, Beautiful Dreamer. I've always heard that this is widely considered the most coveted movie of the Yahzzar series. This second movie. I don't know a whole lot about it. I've seen bits and pieces of Yahzzar, but I've never actually seen the whole thing. I haven't seen all of the movies, so I'm not completely up to date onto it. I just know what I have seen, I have enjoyed. And this is the Central Park Media release, or US Manga Corps release from Central Park Media. The original anime, the movie came out in 1984 and was released in 1992 and 1996. I think 96 might have been the DVD release, and 92 was the original VHS dub of the show. It is a 100-minute long movie, and a little bit about it. Ataru was a hopeless teenage loser until he met the beautiful space princess Lum. Now he's a famous loser with a superpowered alien girlfriend. Lum's very existence throws the space-time continuum completely out of whack, and Ataru's high school is trapped in an alternate reality bursting with obnoxious aliens. Will love conquer all and return the star-crossed Ataru to normality? Not a chance. I don't know a whole lot about this movie other than this one is considered pretty coveted out there, and to actually find a completely factory sealed version with the plastic and everything on DVD is really, really cool. This is out on Blu-ray now. I don't remember if I've picked it up or not. I think I may have, and if not, it is on my list to pick up. The Blu-ray version of this, I believe, came out by Discotek. But to pick up the original US Manga Corps release of this is pretty cool. So, yeah, that's Yahzzar, the movie 2, Beautiful Dreamer. And, well, that's pretty much all we wound up picking up there at the actual event. So after everything was said and done, we decided to go and do a little bit more shopping because, Fort Wayne happens to have a disc replay, or a mega replay as it is called, and it is a very large store. It has probably a similar amount of stock to 2 to 3 of the disc replays here in the Detroit metro area. But it tends to stock a little bit more eclectic, interesting things too, beyond just the regular DVD media and whatnot. It's one of the only disc replays I know of I can go to where I can actually get laser discs or vinyl. And I've even found a Laserdisc player there once. In fact, the Laserdisc player was being sold with all of the Laserdiscs, and it was only like $120, but by the time I was there again, it was gone. But it was definitely cool to go there and check it out. So we all went, had a blast while we were there, and picked up a couple of things. So let's talk about what I picked up while I was there. Like I said, I'm into Laserdiscs, so I had to check out their Laserdiscs, and what I found was, it's not an anime Laserdisc, but it's still a Laserdisc that I wouldn't mind actually owning myself, which is why I picked it up, and, for effectively $2, I thought it was well worth it in the end, and that is Mr. Holland's Opus. This was a movie I saw, back when it originally came out. It really kind of touched me. I really enjoyed it. It was a movie that I had tons and tons of fun with. And in fact, it was kind of his struggle to basically make his opus through the whole entire movie was kind of one of those that I always felt, and I kind of wanted to, at the time, write my own music. I was trying to write my own band pieces and marching band pieces and whatnot, and eventually, maybe, I'll get around to actually finishing some of those, but it was definitely one of those that, growing up and being in the band and things like that, it was something that I really enjoyed. So, yeah. It's kind of cool to own this on Laserdisc. This is a US release, so there's not all of the extras that you typically would expect. You pretty much just get the discs in the sleeve, and that's pretty much it. In fact, the discs just come in this plastic. Doesn't even come in the paper sleeves or anything else interesting in there, and that's just kind of what it is. So, Mr. Holland's Opus. To continue on with probably more of the anime side of things, I picked up Galaxy Fräulein Yuna. So, kind of the back of the case here, and I mean, this one came in pretty good condition. I mean, it even has all of the inside pieces and whatnot. The disc was kept really well, and they didn't have to resurface it. So whoever had this took some pretty good care of their items. So what's a little bit more about this show? I mean, it's an older show. It's about 125 minutes long. Was brought out by ADV. The original version came out in 1995. In Japan, and there's also a Galaxy Fräulein Yuna Returns, which came out in 1996. Looks like both of these are actually on here, so that's cool. So it kind of has all of it. And it was brought out here in 2002 on DVD by ADV. So, how many girls does it take to save the universe? Start with Yuna, savior of the light, galaxy defender, and the #1 fan of Polylina, who not only plays a superhero on TV, but actually is one in her spare time. Add Yuna's friend Yuri, an android with an astonishing appetite. Multiply by Misaki, the new girl in class, who is actually a spy from the Galactic Council, sent to assess a charge that Yuna is trying to take over the galaxy. Divide by the sinister Fräulein D, who is using Misaki as a pawn in a larger game to put Yuna, Yuri, and the mechanical sprite Elner, and the slow-talking Shiori out of commission, so that she can take over the galaxy. Confused? Then we won't factor in the cooking contest, the lost puppy, Fräulein D's henchwomen, or any of the other girls who help Yuna save the universe. It all adds up to great fun in Galaxy Fräulein Yuna. I don't know a whole lot about this show. What I've seen of this show has mostly been in AMVs and whatnot, but it's definitely one that I've kind of always wanted to pick up. And I was pretty sure I didn't own a copy of it, or if I did, I don't own this specific copy. So I will go through my collection and eventually find out. I actually have plans to catalog this really soon here, so there'll probably be a video about that too as I go through that process. So anyway, Galaxy Fräulein Yuna. Saw it. Decided I was going to pick it up. There's a few other items there, but that location usually isn't very great as far as anime is concerned. It has a lot of DVDs, a lot of other interesting things, but anime, usually, at least for what I'm looking for, they don't really tend to have a lot at that location. But it's still always fun to check it out and see what might potentially be there, because you might find something interesting. And speaking of interesting, continuing on with my obsession with RPGs and picking up old school media and whatnot, we picked up, for the Sega Master System, Ys, The Vanished Omens. So what is this? Well, this is a RPG. It is a single-player RPG, but you can save up to 5 games all at once. It is in the Ys saga. I don't remember which Ys this technically is. It's just Ys, The Vanished Omens. It might be Ys 2 or something like that. I don't think it's Ys 3, though. And I'm pretty sure, just judging from it, it's not Ys 1, so I think this might be Ys 2 for the Sega Master System. And yeah, it even comes complete with the original manual. You've got the actual game. In fact, it's literally just listed as Ys on the cartridge. So, kind of interesting. So maybe this is the first one. I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about Ys, so, well, let's just read it. Ys, the Vanished Omens. Once long ago, the kingdom of Ys fell under the reign of evil, but the goddess of Ys saved the kingdom from ruin. Their feats were written in 6 magical books and hidden until the time the goddesses would be needed again. 1,000 years later, that time has come. You are Aaron, a wanderer. An evil sorcerer named Dark Decked is planning diabolical magic, and the seer Sarah is desperately looking for a swordsman to help her find the vanished 6 books of Ys. Now arm yourself and prepare for an adventure into the unknown, where caverns and towers are filled with creatures and hordes of treasure, where the strangest people have clues to tell you, where your skill in combat depends on your reflex. If you succeed, you'll have the power to call down the goddesses. Fail, the Dark Decked will rule the kingdom under a reign of terror forever. Yeah, so, anyway, this is definitely kind of cool. I've been trying to collect a lot of the Ys games. They're a old series, and I've been trying to get more and more of the Ys games over the years, just to, well, have them to play. So it's definitely cool to pick this one up. I know I picked up Ys 3 a little while ago, so here's this one, which I think this might be Ys 2. I know they're calling the main character Aaron, but I believe, just judging by these screenshots, he definitely looks like Adul, which is the main character of the Ys series, so it's probably still kind of the same. But anyway, Ys for the Sega Master System. I don't think we currently own a Master System, so I'm starting to rack up more and more of these Master System games without a system to play it on, so eventually we'll be looking for a Master System, I'm sure. But that was all I wound up getting at the disc replay. But as we were making our way to the disc replay, we found that there's this place called Half-Priced Books, Records, and Magazines. So it's a used bookstore, magazine store, a bunch of different stuff there, all pretty much used. And it was kind of cool. It was like walking into Second and Charles here in the area. It's basically a used store. You go in, you could sell your items, your books or other things there, and then you can go and you can purchase these used items. So they had a lot of records there. They had a fairly interesting collection of Laserdiscs, tons of DVDs, some anime there, nothing that I really was into, quite a few old video games and whatnot, and obviously books and comics and things. So it was definitely cool to hop in there and take a look. So I picked up a couple of things while we were in there. Yeah, let's kind of go over them. So first up, we'll talk about the soundtrack to Amadeus. Amadeus is a movie that came out, I believe it came out in the 90s. Oh wait, no, sorry, 85. Came out in 1985 actually. Could have sworn it came out in the 90s. But I guess it was a film of the 80s. It looked really good for a film that came out in the 80s. Like, it looked like they used actual good film stock. A lot of movies in the 80s didn't. Which is why they look kind of weird. A little grainy, a little extra halos and whatnot around. That's actually due to the fact that they used a lot of film stock that wasn't kept very well back then. But either way, though, Amadeus is a movie about Amadeus, Mozart, right? Yeah, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. But it's mainly told through the eyes of his mentor or rival, as it were, Antonio Salieri, and kind of shows like their relationship between the two of them, and the rivalry and other things, and just the jealousy that Salieri had to Mozart, because I guess Mozart was kind of he was a rock star of the day, basically, and he kind of came from nothing and didn't really learn or was taught things, didn't really follow the standard norms of stuff. He was like a hard rock person compared to, like 80s hair metal rock type person, and compared to the standard, poppy, rocky stuff of like Elvis and the Beatles and things like that. It's like kind of what Solari is. It's kind of a tale of the times, talking about different things, facets in music. So it's a really fun movie. If you have a chance to go see it and you haven't seen it before, it's one that I would actually suggest watching, especially if you're into music or you just want a cool thriller piece or something like that. It won a bunch of Academy Awards and other things, but overall it was just a really good movie with a lot of really good music. So that's what this is. So this is the soundtrack on vinyl, and the soundtrack is basically a bunch of classical music. So it's mostly Mozart songs. So we have the Magic Flute Overture, the Magic Flute Aria, Queen of the Night, the Masonic Funeral Music, Piano Concerto in D minor, first movement, and then from that, all of those are Mozart pieces, and then Solari's piece of Auxure Finale, and then on side 2 we have a Mozart piece of Ein klein Nachtmusik, Serenade, the first movement, and then Concerto for Flute and Harp, second movement, and then 6 German dances, all by Mozart, as well as the Abduction from the Seraglio, chorus of the Janissaries, also from Mozart, and then finally a track here by Giuseppe Giordani, which is Caro Mio Bene. Trying to pronounce these these titles that are not in English sometimes can be a little difficult, because I guess Giuseppe is Italian. Salieri, Mozart, a lot of their stuff is German. Well, Salieri is not necessarily German, but yeah, it's kind of all over the place. It's a little hard to explain without having you watch it, or without me having actually seen it recently. I do own it on Blu-ray, I own it on Laserdisc, and now I own the soundtrack, so that's cool. Awesome. And then kind of rounding out the day, as it were, a couple of things that, I wasn't expecting to find, but lo and behold, they have comic books. So both of these are already bagged, they're already kind of partially sealed, and they're just kind of sitting there, and it's like literally $1 a piece for these. And usually these like older comics and ones that are usually back ordered and more expensive, but than what they originally would cost. But these were quite cool. So we have Sonic the Hedgehog, because I'm a Sonic the Hedgehog fan, and I actually have been collecting the Archie Sonic the Hedgehog comics for a very long time. I kind of fell out of the constant collecting over the previous years, and of course, they've stopped making the comic, and I eventually would like to sit down and collect all of the ones that I'm missing. So I'll be working on that eventually. But this is issue 188 and issue 189. I know I don't have either of these issues specifically. The cover art does not come to mind at all, and I'm usually pretty good at remembering things like cover arts for the most part and whatnot. And I know there was a couple of stretches there where I wasn't picking things up for over a year, so I'm like 12 issues out or whatnot. Where I'm missing, so it's definitely cool to pick these up. Not too much really to say about them. I don't want to spoil any of the storylines going on here, and I don't even necessarily know what the storylines are, and I don't necessarily feel like opening them up because they are sealed with some tape. I don't know if it's acid-free tape, but I guess it's shouldn't matter too much. I usually actually don't seal mine with tape. I will bag and board them, but I won't actually seal them. Instead, I'll just kind of fold them and keep them like that. But anyway, that is, as we say that. But yeah, guys, so that was kind of the end of it all, as it were. Picked up some pretty interesting stuff while we were out at the event, and it was definitely fun to get out and do some stuff like this. So, you know, we might be doing more stuff like this, and you know, this is kind of a different format, a newer format in some ways for some of the stuff that I've done. Obviously, you know, we've done videos where I've gone to a convention or whatnot, but these other little minor things, I don't know if it's something you guys want to see more of, these other things that we wind up doing that are kind of otaku-y or whatnot. If you would like to see more of this type of stuff, let me know in the comment section below. I'd be happy to get some feedback from all of that. Or you can also hit me up on Twitter, you can hit me up on Facebook, you can hit me up on Tumblr. I'm on all of those locations, and all of that information will be in the description below. And of course, you know, if you had any other comments about some of the stuff that I picked up, any other ideas, more information, stuff you want to share, feel free to do so. And I look forward to obviously seeing you guys next time. So yeah, either way though, guys, this is Nate, the old school otaku, signing off.
Boobies.